I got to kick this thing off. Can I kick it off? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ladies and gentlemen, listen.
Hi, I'm Marika Moore, and if you want to get all up in my business, you should check out my new book, Unsolicited Marriage Advice, where I provide an analysis of the best marriage advice that I've received over the past 16 years or so. So head on over to Amazon and buy it now.
Conversate with Us Radio presents the Man Listen Show. We are the blackest radio show on the internet. We bring you our opinion on topics that affect the Black community in an effort to enlighten, enrich, and empower every brother and sister that falls under the sound of our voice. We operate on a no-hating frequency, so be prepared for us to keep it 100% real and 100% Black all the time. Please follow the show on Facebook and Instagram at Man Listen Show. Go to YouTube, click that bell icon, leave a comment, subscribe, tell a friend. Go to our IG, go to the link in our bio. You can get merchandise like this. You can buy our books. You can buy everything. You can bang our Cash App, support the show. Just help us out, independent Black media. So tell a friend about the blackest radio show on the internet, the Man Listen Show. I'm your host, Mark B. Let's bring the crew in. All right, y'all. So, white folks went out in droves all across the country to protest. The protest was over Donald Trump, obviously, and Elon Musk, the hands-off protests. And it was funny to me because, I didn't see much of this protest being put out there. And it's probably because most of my algorithm is catered towards Black people and Blackness. And I love, what do Black people call themselves? The Black women call themselves the 92%. So like the 92%, I forget what they call the brothers, but it's like, look, we're not involved in it. We try to tell y'all we did our part and that's it. And it was funny how there was one particular picture that was shared, and it showed like all the white folks walking in the protest, and it showed some Black folks look like they was eating brunch, drinking mimosas, like looking out at the protest, not being bothered.
That's hilarious. I didn't see that one.
I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna send it to y'all.
Hey, we need to post that on the page because that's hilarious.
Right. Yeah. That's gonna be on the title for this show. But are we making a mistake by sitting out? I don't agree. I don't think we are. But is there something that we should be doing more in protest, or is this point that people are making? Hey, listen, we're not getting involved in that. We're tired of being used. Is it sound logic, in your opinion?
I mean, but they protesting to let the world know that they're mad at what he's doing. We did that with our vote. So,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know what else we could do. I mean, I don't personally know what protests do except raise awareness, and I've raised awareness to what I feel my issues are. So I don't need to get out there and walk arm in arm with anybody to raise awareness to my issues. I use other avenues. So I don't necessarily call myself the 92% or whatever, but yeah, I think I've made my points loud and proud that this was not the way to go. And here we are, right again.
Right. And I think part of it too is that you look at history, every movement has been co-opted or piggybacked on by those people. And so when they start something, it just doesn't have any really real meaning to us, because the things that we're fighting for and the things that they talking about, they're not the same. And they, the enemy, I'm not going to say the enemy, but the person is the same. But the things that they're talking about really have no bearing on what we've been talking about for 500 years. So it's one of those deals where, hey, y'all do y'all thing or whatever. We still going to be here. We're going to do what we got to do. But we not, like you said, Arika, we ain't locking arms hand in hand, singing "We Shall Overcome" like they was out there doing.
Man, they was out there singing bad too, man. It was tough, man. It was tough.
Just making up songs with no rhythm.
Yeah, no rhythm, off tune. This is just bad. But I think some of us learned a lot from back in 2017 with that pink hat movement. You remember when Trump had his first term and the white women were out there marching for women's rights and they had the pink hats on. And I think it was called like the P hats or something like that. You know, y'all know what I'm talking about when I say P. But it was this women's march that happened in 2017 to protest against Donald Trump. And there were some sisters out there and a lot of us was like, hey, yo, because you remember when Trump got put into office, it was a lot of finger pointing. And it was a lot of finger pointing at black men. There was a whole lot of finger pointing at black men. And then finally somebody said, no, wait a minute. If 100% of black men voted, he still would have won. Hillary still would not have won, right? And we still over-indexed in terms of like how we voted for Hillary at that time. But some of the sisters got in line with that and that women's movement, and people called out like, so why y'all marching with the white women that helped put him in? Because we found out that it's not the black folks. And even though we was mad at some of the Latinos, shout out to them Cubans in Miami, it was really again white women who put him in office. So I think we've learned from that, and that's why we were just like, hey, listen, it's on y'all, man. Which I'm happy for because I think this go around, there was some finger pointing, and I saw how like some people were starting to like if Kamala don't win, it's because of black men, and people had to be like, no, wait a minute, don't start that shit, don't start that. You know what I'm saying? If y'all want to talk to somebody, if y'all want to focus on somebody, focus on the white women, focus on them. They're the ones you need to say, hey, listen, why are you going to put him in office, and don't try to act like we in solidarity when we're really not, because they're good for that. They're good for being like, Trump's a monster and I just can't believe how he is, and then they'll get into the ballot and just be like, I had to vote for my grandchildren.
Right.
That's how they do.
That's because they want him to grab them by the pea hat.
Man.
Man, they don't make sense. I think that one of the things that they consistently do is follow the white males in their lives as opposed to thinking for themselves, which is why we have so many problems with abortion rights right now and Roe v. Wade and all of that stuff. But then it's like also, I think that part of the reason why he has been able to like keep gaining traction is because our country is just getting dumber and dumber, like as a whole. Like the fact that he did all the stuff that he did to the stock market, and then they tell him some, oh, what's her name? Marjorie Green bought stocks when it was low. Of course she did. They all did. They bought stocks when it was low, and then the stock
Hey,
market went back up, and then they made a killing. They did this on purpose.
hey, pure market manipulation, insider trading. Hey, and they're not even to the point where they really trying to hide it
They're
because
not.
he didn't tank the market, and they're gonna get on his little social media and be like, "Now's the time to buy." Like, come on, come on. And then they said they pointed out how he put his little signature on it, so they knew it wasn't just like a staff member writing it. He was like, "Now's the time," or something to that effect. And then everybody bought, and then next thing you know, I'm gonna put a pause on these tariffs. I'm gonna put a 90-day pause on these tariffs and bring them
And the
back.
stock market go back up.
And right back up. And it went right back up.
That's why money is so fake. Like currency is fake. All of it is fake. And then it's like because we have this fake money monetary trading
That shit
system,
real when it go
it
out
keeps
my
circulating.
account.
Hey, it's real. It's real on the first of the month or whenever
Right.
it's
No,
15th,
what it can do
whatever
is
it is.
real, but its existence is not real. Like, so if somebody came calling for all of the dollar bills that are in existence in America, we ain't got it. What's it supposed to account for? We got that much gold, silver, all this other shit. Don't nobody want that shit.
Hey, look, and they talk about if they went into Fort Knox, it might be on that Al Capone shit. You remember back in the day when
It was
Geraldo,
empty.
Geraldo was like, we found Al Capone's secret stash, and they did a whole 2-hour show just to knock down the wall with shit in that motherfucker.
Yep.
That's gonna be Fort Knox. Where to go at?
Yep.
Ain't no gold. We
Ain't no,
wearing it.
oh man, that's gone.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, it's like a precious metal. The balance has long since not made sense, but we have just continue to perpetuate the myth that our dollar bills are substantiated by some other valuable thing. And it's just like
standard. Yeah.
I don't want to trade my dollars for gold. I want to trade my
Right.
dollars for food, housing, electricity. Like it really never made sense.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, and we've talked about it on here in the last few years about getting in the market. The market is artificially inflated, bottom line. It's just, and it's controlled by very few people. So that's why a lot of people can make a lot of money, because they know when it's going up, they know when it's going down, because they know what they're about to do. We're just pawns. They say we're about to make a lot of money. We're going to make these people buy. We're going to make these people sell, and we're going to do the opposite. And that's how we're going to make our money. And they know it's all a racket.
So I do think that there are people who do the knowledge and who study and know how to read the market. I do think that. But there is a lot of insider trading, market manipulation. And if we keeping it a buck, it ain't just the Republicans that benefit.
No.
Because they say if you look at Nancy Pelosi's
deep.
You look at her stock account, that shit's banging. And it's Marjorie Taylor, her little country, but what did old girl say? Bad built,
yeah.
Bleach blonde. But it ain't just her. It ain't just her. It's all of them that's out there. It's a grift. It's just that Trump and his folks are just blatant.
Yeah.
And they don't
Pillaging.
They don't care because they know that their base is going to vote for them and support them no matter what.
It's not even about the base. They know that they have the people in the other branches of government in place that aren't going to say anything either. They're going to let him ride. They're going to let him do whatever he wants to do. So at this point, who cares if I'm in contempt of court? What are you going to do about it?
Okay, perfect transition. Perfect transition. Are we seeing the judiciary branch? Are we seeing them just totally be phased out or become like a what they call this shit, a kangaroo court?
Yeah, right.
Because the judge said, hey man, yeah, they sent that man to El Salvador and he wasn't supposed to bring him back. And
by midnight.
And bring him back.
They like, nah.
Bring him back. And they just like, nah. And then they got the damn president from El Salvador. He here talking about me no speaking the English. I don't know where he at.
Yeah. But the vice president said El Salvador said, hey, we keeping him because they paying us. So
they see dollar bills. They know what they doing.
Hey, he fuck around be dead. I don't wish that.
Probably.
I don't wish that on him. I don't wish that for his family.
His senator
he might not come back just because he can't come back unless he weekend at Bernie's.
Right. No, his senator met with him in person today or something. I guess his senator went down there or something.
Okay.
His senator down to El Salvador?
Yeah.
Now you a good senator.
You're a good senator because you mess around, I'll be able to come back yourself.
You heard what I said. I won't take my black ass down there.
He wasn't.
They put eyes on him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently, yeah.
Because that's my thing.
Supposedly.
Because he's like, it ain't like it's like minimum security prison.
Right.
Like, no, this is some real deal, third world hardcore prison, penitentiary. And
but this is the problem. This is what he's doing is exposing the fact that our system is built on respect, right? So the strong arm of the judiciary is the executive. If the executive don't respect the judiciary and stop doing what they want them to do, then what they gonna do? And then if the legislature is approving stuff for the executive, but they just signing executive orders and don't care what the legislative is doing, what are they gonna do? Like at the end of the day, if the executive branch has all of the police power, what are you gonna do? And he's really just pulling people card every single day. Like, what are you going to do? Do we really have a system of checks and balances if all I have to do is just say, I'm not going to do it? Like, are you going to put Trump in jail for contempt of court? Are you?
I mean, technically,
they're not.
They not. You know what I'm saying?
Not.
But technically, if you talk about the police force, law enforcement, they should enforce the law that the judiciary puts in place.
Against the executive branch. The executive branch is the enforcer. So how you gonna tell your chief enforcer? How you gonna tell the minions to put the chief enforcer in jail for not doing what the judiciary say? That's what I'm saying. It's all like a, you know.
Like you said though, it was all the whole system was built on a certain level of respect for the process and everything like that. And
Constitution.
as long as everybody is agreeable, then it works fine. But when you get some what they call him outsider who comes in and he's just like Joe, like Snoop and Baby Boy, F your fort. You know what I'm saying? He don't he don't care. He don't care what you built. Then how do we handle that? And that's where they talk about the constitutional crisis.
That's where you got to have that FU money, like Harvard, because he trying to tell Harvard, hey, listen, y'all need to put one of our people in compliance, over compliance. Y'all need to stop teaching this. Y'all need to do X, Y, and Z or whatever. And Harvard was like, nah, we ain't doing that. Now, it's a lot easier for Harvard to say we don't need your $2 billion when we already got a $59 billion endowment
right
on. Now, you start going at Russ College or Morris Brown down in Atlanta and say, hey, listen, y'all don't do what we say, we're gonna pull your money. And I don't even know if they could, if those colleges qualify for federal funding. They probably do, but I know a lot of that money comes from the state. But Trump's been known to say, hey, listen, we're gonna put our Justice Department to have pressure on your attorney general to enforce this on this college. So yeah, Harvard could do that, but what happens if he starts targeting the HBCUs?
Right. No, you're right. That's why, that's why I got this shirt on, man. We got it's on us to support them, man. At this point, you've been talking there for a while. Pick one. So instead of none of us went to for undergrad went to HBCUs. You did for grad school, Mar, but pick out a HBCU, even if you didn't go there. Something that's close, something that has family significance, something, and we start donating there.
And that's one thing that there's two arguments that I want to see stop. Actually, three. I'm gonna get the third one. I got to call out a certain person. These 50-50 arguments on social media, no more, no more. Listen, we always said, listen, black men, black women, we all we got. And we're more powerful when we are together. Our love is revolutionary. That's why they always want to stoke divide. And that's why they have these little agents creating this shit on social media to keep us disjointed and to keep us from being able to organize. They like it when you see the bad girls fighting all the time on social media. They like to perpetuate those images. They like to perpetuate the negativity about black men, but they won't perpetuate black love, and that's on us to do that. That's that's one thing. Second thing, man, listen, I love it that my people went to HBCUs, but it don't make you more blacker to somebody that didn't. And if you keep stoking that divide, this message that we're trying to send, like, hey, even though you didn't go, pick one. Most people be like, man, I ain't fooling with that. I ain't fooling with that. I can't come to the homecoming. You talk bad about me. Talk bad about me because why would you go to a PWI when you come to HBCU? Everybody's situation was different, man.
Right.
So we got to stop that. And the third thing that we got to stop doing. I'm tired of seeing grown people reference young black men as YNs, young N words.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know that I've been, anti N word for what, 11 years now. We don't use it on this show. I don't allow things that I'm involved in. I don't allow that to be used because my mission is how can we tell young black men, young black women to be the best that they can be, and we call them something so vile. That to me was enough. We can go deeper into why you shouldn't use the N word. We can debate that, but Now we calling these young black men YNs, and it's gotten to the point where we got this idiot Marcus Morris, one of the twins that played basketball. What's his brother's name? Markeith.
Markeith, yeah.
So Marcus Morris is on First Take with Stephen A. Smith and another young lady. I don't know her name, but I assume she played in the WNBA.
Yeah.
And this dude's talking about the Memphis Grizzlies, and yes, they got some maturity issues, but he references them as YNs on First Take, national TV.
Yeah,
you got it. At this point, you got to consider Marcus. He's what they call it up phase now.
Right.
And you doing stuff. It's totally inappropriate.
Yeah,
totally inappropriate, idiotic, short-sighted, and really some sucker shit.
Yeah,
clip that up.
That's one of those things too, though, that he said it. Nobody on set. Chanae, she's younger. She knew. Stephen A. didn't really know what he was. Stephen A. ain't know what he talking about for sure. Maybe Molly didn't.
Stephen A. is not my favorite, so I'm inclined to believe the worst of him at every opportunity I'm given.
But you better get used to him, because Stephen A. think he gonna run for president.
Of what? The House?
U.S.
His neighborhood association?
Right.
Hey, Stephen A. said he's strongly considering running for president.
I mean, if Trump can do it, any idiot can.
And that's the whole problem with his whole presidency, is he gives every celebrity that has a platform really is just one step away from throwing their hat in the ring with no
one stack of millions.
You know what I'm saying? And what we have now, you can see you have somebody in office who has no historical connection to politics, so they don't understand the ins and outs of how politics work. To those, it is more about a dictatorship or
power
grab. Yeah. And so it's going to affect everybody.
We got to call for what it is, man. It's about targeting Black people at the end of the day. They can talk about how they going after transgenders. They can talk about how they are deporting illegal immigrants or whatever. But the thing, and to me, those are smoke screens. Those are smoke screens. This real. It does impact people. The number of transgenders, that's such a red herring. I don't even know why people continue to fall for that.
Yeah.
But you notice the things that go against Black people, they're real quiet about it. You might see one particular headline, the stuff they're talking about removing from the Smithsonian, some of the laws, the acts that the executive orders that Biden put into place that would help Black people, all those things that they are targeting. It's always about us being on the bottom. It's always about us being on the bottom. And that's why they're able to get that base to come out and vote. And honestly, I still maintain, and to put it down, I'm an election denier. I still don't think he took every single swing state. I think Elon has something. He had them little hackers or whatever. I think it's some scandal shit. Remember on Scandal when they were talking about, we cheated to win the presidency. Yeah. So
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I didn't watch it either.
I had a chick that watched it at the time, so
comes out.
I thought okay, listen, because it started off. Scandal started off interesting because Carrie Wilson was playing. He was like, "Oh shit, Carrie Wilson, she a boss." And then it's like, wait a minute.
Carrie who?
What's her name? Carrie
Washington.
I said Carrie. I said Carrie Wilson.
Listen, he wasn't gonna give you no leg room.
He said it 3 times. He said it like 2 or 3 times. First time I was gonna let it slide.
I'm gonna do my Shannon Sharp. Wilson, Williams, Washington. Lakers in 5.
He said, who again?
He said, who? Hey, I'm glad he did though, because we'd have been there editing the show, and I'd have been like, ugh. But Kerry Washington, the first it was like, yeah, she played this role, man. This like, are you the white man's side piece?
Mm-hmm.
And then it just went downhill from there, man. But I was just like, this is tough right here, dude.
I
This
can't say because I didn't watch
Yeah,
it,
I literally I might have watched 2 episodes ever.
I watched.
but
I think I watched two. Somehow, some way, I got to the point where they was like, he cheated to win the presidency. Like they found a way to hack the ballot boxes or whatever, the electronic ballots. And they was like, so wait a minute, I really didn't win the presidency. After that, I don't know what happened. But point being,
spoiler alert.
I
I was gonna watch it.
I know I was gonna binge it tomorrow.
yeah, right. Yeah, right.
It
You
was
know,
on my watch list.
and I used to get in so many arguments with sisters about that. Like, why y'all watching this show, man?
Mm-hmm.
Because like this show, the and disclaimer, I'm not that black man that feels like I have to wag my finger at black women and tell them how they should, other than don't wear them bonnets at the motherfucking airport.
And wedges and learn these line dances
Hey,
and
wedge heels and then bonnets at airports. That's the hill I would die on fighting that battle for sure. For sure. But here's the point. When you got these baddies, it's somehow, some way, because I always click on it, it stays in my algorithm, saying Smiley fighting Lexi and this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, what is the point of this show? So when you see our young black women fighting each other, brutalizing each other, when you see middle-aged black women on these reality shows being nice, nasty to one another, right? When you see this type of stuff, when you see the scandals and how, okay, this powerful black woman, DC insider, still the side piece to a white man. When you see even us calling young black men YNs, it makes it easier in their mind, even though they're going to do it anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's easier in their mind to justify not treating you like a human being. Now, we could be as respectable as possible. We could do everything perfect. And they still gonna look at us that way because look, we all three highly educated people. And we still encounter situations where people will be like, yeah, but you somebody who do you know? How did you get here? Nah, bitch, I'm smart. You know what I'm saying? I got
smarter
right.
than the average bear.
We're not talking about any respectability politics here.
Mm-hmm.
But we still have to check this gutter, low life part of our community because it's doing so much harm. Just like I talked about the gangster rap back at the end, and I'm gonna stop ranting. Like these things play into our mental.
Mm-hmm.
It plays into our mental, not just theirs, but ours, and it keeps us from being as great as we can possibly be.
But how you gonna check it? But it keep popping up in your algorithm though, because I don't have black people fighting in my algorithm.
Look,
and I don't watch reality shows, so I don't know who these people are talking about. So maybe you're part of the problem.
One thing about now, I could lie and say I'm doing it for investigative purposes, right? But once you click on, it's like I'm a big fan of pimple poppers. I can't watch it because as soon as you watch it, man, your whole fucking For You page to be popping pimples and stuff. So every now and again, I'd be like, man, what are these Negroes doing now? And I look at it, and then
Lisa, come look at that.
And now it's on there every day for me to judge. So yeah, people are watching it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I know what the shows are, but I've never watched them. But no, I know. I see other people post all the time, like about this show or that show, and I just be like, man, I guess it's just a bottomless well of these type of shows on Tubi or Zeus Network or whatever it is.
And yeah, the Zeus is the worst. And there is,
yeah.
Let me call this out because I know there'll probably be somebody who will try to say I'm a hypocrite. I am a Power fan. And does that reinforce negative stereotypes? Yes, it does. I can admit that. I can admit that. But that is fantasy. It's fantasy. And but when we see the reality of how certain people in our community act, I think that makes a difference.
Why? So I don't watch Power
Just
and I
play.
don't
I'm
watch
just play
reality
to
TV
it. What
shows.
is
But my thing is,
the reality?
those reality shows are scripted too. Like
I
some
was
of
just gonna
those,
say we all know
we all
that's
know
not
that's scripted.
reality TV. Yeah.
Yes, it's scripted. That show is scripted. It's all designed to entertain you, just in a different way. You feel less,
I think what do they call
offended
it?
by
What
the
hold on?
by the
What
less
do they call
scripted
it?
look.
Non-scripted. It's non-scripted,
It's non-scripted, yeah,
but
but
it's heavily influenced.
they set
That
up
shit is scripted.
scenarios for you,
They set
and
up
then
the
whatever happens
scenarios.
happens.
They put. I'm agreeing with you, but I'm saying
Mhm.
there's the difference is that they create the scenarios to tell the narrative, but they don't give them a script.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
my point
It's
is
like
that it's
wrestling.
all the same. Somebody's sitting back there with a pen and paper designing the drama that entertains. And if you're entertained by that drama, whether it's influenced or scripted, you're still entertained by the drama.
Listen, man, Law and Order,
I'm gonna watch Power, goddammit.
Law and Order been on for 30 motherfucking years. You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't watch that either.
And it's well, shit. You should have you an attorney. But listen, listen. I watched every episode with Jack McCoy on that. And then when they had what's the one with Vince D'Onofrio, Criminal Intent. And
Mhm.
Mhm.
I know everybody. I know a lot of people that say, "Listen, hey, don't let Law and Order SVU come on. I'm done for the rest of the day because I keep
Yeah.
showing it over and over again." So it's fantasy versus reality. We may not agree, and I understand somebody might say, "Okay, you somewhat of a hypocrite," but that's my
Whoa.
explanation.
But how is that fantasy when Law and Order literally based off of real life events all the time? That's not
Telling the
fantasy.
story.
Yeah, it's telling. I mean, a lot of stuff.
Telling
A
the
lot of these
story.
That's
movies and shows
reality.
can say that they're based off of, and based just means that they took one little piece of, but all the other stuff they added in for dramatic purposes.
That's like adding in the P on the R. Kelly show. That's not just for dramatic purposes. It was there. Like,
Now that's one tape I did not watch. Now I still step in the name of love, but I didn't watch that tape though. So you know,
but the point is, to a certain extent, there is somebody behind the scenes pulling the strings on all of that. That's my only point, is that there's somebody behind the scenes controlling the narrative on all of it.
Letting it happen and all
there's
that.
somebody behind the scenes controlling this social media that pushes these
Yes.
narrow stereotypes. There's somebody behind the scenes that's pushing the ignorance and rap music. Yes, yes, that's what
And
they've done.
honestly,
They've done it since slavery. They've always tried to control our.
Yes.
They've always tried to. There's somebody behind the scenes that's pushing the more potent alcohol to Black people. It's always somebody trying to cloud our minds, cloud our judgment, and to keep us from being as great as we could possibly be.
Yes.
100%.
But 50 is a Black man, so I'm supporting Black. I'm supporting.
Let's keep it
I'm
100.
supporting Black
You
business.
love Mary J. Blige.
I support Black.
He love Monet,
Right.
And I'm in love with Monet Tejada. Shout out to Mary J.
Clearly. You be trying to unfriend people over those spoiler alerts.
Oh man, listen.
But you want to sit over here and ruin Scandal for me. I
Scandal,
know I'm 20 years behind, but I was gonna watch it,
Scandal
goddamn.
been on TV for damn 8 years.
Right.
Scandal been on TV for 8 years. If you was gonna watch it, you would have been watched it.
No, what's sense?
Exactly. You ain't gonna watch it.
Yeah.
I cannot stand TV. It's like it's ongoing. Like, how long am I supposed to be invested in this other person's life that's fake and I know it's fake?
Honestly,
Like, wrap it up.
Yeah, no, it gets to a point where a lot of shows they've reached their relevance and then they just hanging on for what they used to be, and at that time, it's hard to pull away though. Honestly, if you watch the show for 3 seasons, that 4th season, even though the 3 ended terribly, you're still gonna watch 4 though. You
I don't
just
think
feel
I've
like it's an
ever made it.
I
obligation.
think the only
I don't think I've ever made it.
to last point. Once I watched the shows that are those Sunday night shows.
Yeah.
So Game of Thrones,
Never seen it.
Power,
Nope.
P Valley,
Nope.
and when are they gonna bring P Valley back? But speaking of negative stereotypes, that was terrible.
He's like, where's my tabloid fix?
But it's excellent storytelling. It's excellent storytelling.
Yeah.
The one that I did not finish was The Walking Dead.
Mm.
Because I'm like, hey man, why every black person got to be a damn caricature or get killed real quick? You know what I mean? I was just like, nah, even in the zombie apocalypse, we can't escape these negatives. I couldn't do it.
We can't even beat it in death.
I know.
Hey,
Exactly.
hey, and you know, in the zombie apocalypse, we probably gonna survive because most of us, we ain't gonna be like, shit, I ain't going out there.
Right, exactly.
I
We're gonna
thought
be-
I was gonna survive, but my little brother, he's like, nah, put me with the majority. He's like, I don't want to be sitting over here fighting this motherfucker for a can of corn. I almost said the N-word. I don't want to be fighting nobody over a can of corn. Now we having a shootout over the last potato. He's like, just put me with the zombies, man.
You're just gonna give it up, huh?
He's like, just
ghost.
put me with the majority. I ain't got time to be. That's not how I want to live.
Next thing you know, you be doing like with Michael Jackson with All the Ray. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, you doing your thing, dude, on that Thriller, dude.
Hey, listen. No, but I mean, like all of those shows, I get it. It's just like I feel like Power and the other one, Empire. Was it Empire? Am I tripping? Okay. They're like, there's a particular aspect of reality that they're attempting to portray, and there's a certain element of truth that people are attracted to. But then once you get past like the first season or two, it gets so embellished into ridiculousness that it's so beyond any realm of what is really happening in anyone's life that you really know. We're all off in fairy tale land. And to me, it's just like reading fantasy books, but you could read books.
I'm not gonna say that because a lot of stuff, as we've seen recently, goes on that we're like, ain't no way that really happened, and it really happens in celebrities in people's lives. So
that's
shit.
fair.
Nobody thought Trump would be in office, and
yeah.
But here,
I 100% thought he was getting back in.
I didn't think he was gonna get the first time.
Yeah.
I didn't think
that was the problem.
I didn't think he was gonna.
That was the problem. We underestimated. See, I live in Missouri still.
Shit, I live in Texas. Hell, you don't get no more red than Texas.
I go to these rural courts.
I do. I go to rural areas, and I know.
And in these rural courts in Georgia, and then them judges.
I did not listen, and I told you I had an old manager pull me to the side. He said, "Hey, listen, man, I'll tell you, Trump about to be next president." I said, "Ain't no way. Ain't no way. You know, I don't really care for Hillary, but she been Secretary of State,
she's so qualified.
Senator of New York, First Lady, you know.
Right.
Hey, this motherfucker is idiotic, can't talk. He's a liar, all this old shit, grabbing women by the pee and all that stuff." And he said, man, he told me, he said, "Listen, man, I can go in rooms you can't go in. He about to be the next president." I said, "Nah." When it happened, he said, "Man, you okay?" I know you. He said, "You okay?" And I was like,
"How's the real world treating you?"
That's tough. It's tough. It's tough. But back to your point. For me, it's about being entertained and escapism. It's no different than when my kids played the Grand Theft Auto, or back when we used to listen to gangster rap. Those things really were more so entertainment, right? Entertainment, fantasy, escapism. How many people, I see memes all the time where people be like, shit, here I am driving to my 9 to 5, my 6-figure job, and I'm listening to trap music, say, don't get in my car unless you want to sell drugs and fuck off. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's an escapism. But when we start bringing it to real life, that's a problem. And I can only, and I even say this, movies, TV, like scripted television, like we're writing stuff. Yeah, there's the old stereotypical black exploitation stuff that we may see, right? But to me, that's no different than reading a book and them creating a fantasy and telling a story. When we start getting into the music, we start getting into reality TV, to me, that's more impactful and influential over people's minds and how they look at themselves as a community.
But why? More than a book?
Yeah, because the music and it's called reality TV. So that real word is there. And then in what we call rap, hip hop, whatever you want to call it, the number one selling point is how real you are. You know what I mean? And so if you don't even write your lyrics, like he never lived that life. He a fraud. He a fraud. And most of these guys really ain't lived the lives that they really rapping about.
You saw where Jadakiss was on Joe Budden. I didn't watch, I don't, I'm in and out with Joe Budden. But a while back, Jadakiss was on the Joe Budden show. And it was Jadakiss, his father, and I believe his son.
Mm-hmm.
Son's in the same frat as me and Lab.
Yeah.
And his dad called him out and was like, he didn't want y'all to know, I had him in private school.
Mm-hmm.
I had him in private school. And if you're a fan of the Locks, Jadakiss, they talk about, hey, listen,
right.
They got to weigh my coat with the shit that they
bring the whales in.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, how
clearly he don't know what the hell he was talking about.
So how the damn private school kid out here slinging dope?
Mm-hmm.
And music, what they say, the dumb are led by the drum.
And think about it like this: when we was in college, right? So we wasn't 21, we wasn't legally able to go purchase liquor, but half the stuff that you was drinking was you heard rappers rap about it.
They had the St. Ives campaign.
The St. Ives campaign. Yeah, I remember the Special Bro. You remember the Special Bro?
Ice Cube, King T, and it was hardcore.
Yeah.
It was hard. They was rhyming hard.
Yeah.
And here's go back.
Alizé, Hennessy, Alizé, all that.
Okay, that for sure. Music, I was like, I started out in the Irk and Jerk era.
Look, go back to what I said.
I don't know anybody was rapping about that.
Go back to what I said. When I said they market the more potent alcohol to Black people, the more potent cigarettes. If you live in the suburbs, I highly doubt that you're going to find some cool menthol cigarettes.
Yeah,
I don't know. I can't say that for sure because I don't smoke.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, you're right. I'm assuming too.
I think it's a pretty good, safe bet that they don't put that shit to the hood, right? The stuff that's more addictive. And y'all disagree with me. We talk about it. Shout out to C. Forgot to say at the beginning of the show. That sports bet. All they do is market that towards us.
We're back on betting again.
The people who ain't got no fucking wealth. And they got Drewski,
again.
Drewski, Joe Budden. They done brought Jamie Foxx from the dead.
That goes
phone to market the shit. And again, you start marketing these things that are detrimental to your wealth. What's the biggest cause for
not necessarily?
And the fact that you talk about your algorithm. So those are the people you see.
1 second, I'll let you finish. I'll let you say your thing. But what's the thing hey, Rika, you wrote a book about it. Marriage and shit, right? Staying married and all that. What's one of the things they say one of the biggest reasons people get divorced? Lack communication and money.
Mm-hmm.
What do we say? Our love is revolutionary. So they can mess up the family. It's another somebody, what you say, Rika? Somebody behind the scenes.
That's a leap.
I think that's a leap on that too. You talk because again, you talk about your algorithm. Dog, they have whole the guy that you hate, Pat McAfee. He's probably the biggest one going out for sports betting and stuff like that. I mean, so in your feed, you're right. You see Drewski, you see Jamie Foxx, but other people.
I see anybody.
I see Drewski and Jamie Foxx and Joe Budden on the NBA broadcast.
I haven't seen any of them.
No damn algorithm.
I haven't seen any of them.
Yeah. You just said you don't watch TV, so be quiet.
I'm on the internet, on the interwebs. I be on Facebook and Instagram, and I don't watch TV.
but no, I mean, I'll stand by this. I don't think that there's anybody out here who's gonna get addicted to sports gambling because of an app that wasn't already in that position. I don't think there is. And if there are, there might be a couple. Don't get me the line. There might be a couple, but I don't think it's going to be that detrimental because they made it legal in 27 states instead of in 2. I don't think so.
You know, if you have an addictive personality, you're gonna get addicted. Everybody has a vice. Everybody has something that's there.
I have a super addictive personality.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't drink no more. I have a drink every now and again. There's certain shit I don't do, and one of them is gambling. And
That's a choice.
And you know why? And you know why?
Because you have an addictive personality.
Because I have addictive personality, and I saw the pressure, even though I have wonderful parents.
But you haven't stopped buying Jordans.
Can I finish my thought, please?
Yes, come
Attorney. So, counselor, and the thing that I saw, I had a parent who was addicted to gambling, and I saw firsthand the pressure that puts on a family. So I don't want to hear about how it doesn't impact a vulnerable community. It does. Now we could agree to disagree on that shit, but y'all wrong.
That's not how that works.
Yeah. And there are people that will get caught up in it, correct? But just like everything, I mean,
we can't afford to get caught up in it. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, there's people that got caught up in going to college and getting more education and got railroaded that way, and that ruined them financially.
And again, somebody behind the scenes said, "Oh, these Negroes want to be educated. Let's trap them in debt with this student loans."
There are literally colleges who have had all of their student loans forgiven because they have fraudulent practices. Yeah. So let's not pretend like there are people out there just targeting
a vulnerable community. They were targeting.
But that's not just black people. That's vulnerable people. Well, yes, but that's because our whole country is getting dumber as a unit. But bringing it back full circle to the fact that you keep harping on gambling like it's the only vice. It is not the only vice.
I talked about more vices. I talked about how the menthol cigarettes and the
right, but everybody has a vice.
Liquor. So that's 3 things. So that's
everybody has a vice.
If I use my discretionary money on that as opposed to buying sneakers or buying luxury items, what's the difference? And I have an opportunity to actually get money from that. If I buy a Louis belt or Gucci shoes, there's zero chance of me recouping any of that money.
That's not necessarily true. You can
that is true. No. Who wants your old ass creased up Louis belt after you done worked?
I know plenty of damn little high schoolers who done made a nice little money reselling their damn Jordans.
That shit's stolen.
And shit like that. Yeah,
it is stolen.
So you can't get money off those things.
Yes, if you steal it.
If you're going to resale, correct?
Do appreciate. Yes, they do.
Yeah, you can if you're on a resale, and they did, but they don't anymore. You know, there was a good 4 years where they were, but right now, there ain't nothing to appreciate on sneakers.
And I would say that's because you know what has went up? These goddamn groceries.
Oh my gosh. The eggs have stopped the sneaker prices.
And there's somebody in the back room calculating the price of eggs.
Look, he done put the tariffs on eggs. And now Negroes can't buy Jordans. But hey, I got a little $15 on my Cash App. Let me go ahead on the what's it called? The shit sports, whatever the sports bet. I don't even know what they call. Let me go over here.
Clearly, you know more than us.
Let me go over here and play my damn parlay and see if I can turn 15 into 30. And it never fucking works.
You know what else doesn't work? Buying an expensive shirt you can't afford.
It does.
Buying bottles in the club.
I'm gonna tell you like this. It does.
Now y'all sound like the white folks. Y'all sound like the white folks would be like, if black folks didn't buy Jordans, they would be off.
That's what you sound like.
Have you ever bought a section? Have you ever bought a $750 bottle in the club when it's cost $40 at home?
Not by myself, but
But you have. But you have. You know what you could do with that money? You could invest that money. That money could be turned into
those arguments are so.
What could it be done? What could be done with it?
You could drink it and have a good time and enjoy life a little bit.
What else could you do with that money?
You
Huh?
can gamble it. You can win a parlay.
Or 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 I can't say what to say.
Take it to the strip club. Get a what is it? Happy
Yeah, I
ending.
mean,
Now,
seriously,
now, if I go to the strip club, that's reinvested into the community.
okay.
But
So is the
gambling
education.
style,
So is the lottery, man.
Gambling is going to the
schools.
white man who
The
created
schools
the
are getting.
algorithm. But if I go to the strip club and I support a young black shoe model, and she takes that money to Spelman and
did he
pays
say
her
shoe
tuition
model?
and
Yeah, that's
pays
what they
and
do.
pays her
That's what they model
tuition,
shoes.
I've
That
invested
sounds very
in the community.
specific.
Yeah,
Wait,
they model shoes. That's all
because they don't have on any
shoes.
clothes. That's hilarious.
I'm reinvesting in the community. Trump putting to stop the Pell Grants and shit. Yeah, we got it. Hey, we got it. Hey, all we got is us.
Send them
Hey,
out to
man.
college.
Let me look up some places where I can go reinvest in my community this weekend.
Strokers, the O. Y'all might as well go on down to my brother's club and
Hey,
investing in shoe
hey,
models.
make it a
Shout out to
good
Onyx.
Friday for somebody.
Yeah, shout out to Onyx.
I don't anymore. It's the O now.
Well,
It's the O now. You know.
obviously Houston, we call them the Onyx, but shout out to the O too.
Well, you know, all of them, all the shoe model establishments.
Yeah. So I think it goes back to this.
As long as you don't gamble.
I think it goes back to this. And okay, but be clear, I'm not against gambling.
We're not against rap.
I'm not. I'm not against hell. I put money on the Final Four.
Really?
I put money on
the UCL,
on the fantasy football. Even though I don't watch the NFL, a group of friends and we play fantasy football. I know dudes. Hey, listen, guys trip. We going to Vegas so we can bet. We can sit at the sports book. We can do all these things. I'm not against gambling. What I'm against is targeting wealth from vulnerable people by making it easy through these damn apps to take money out of our community. That's the point I'm trying to make. And if people don't see that, then I don't know what else to say.
No, so what you're saying is you got to be rich enough to afford a plane ticket to Vegas to gamble in order to spend your money. But they're just sitting at home on their couch, they can't gamble.
The
who? Sorry, the people.
Shit. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. So on that note, I think we talked about it enough. Make sure you go to our Facebook and Instagram.
That was inevitable.
Listen show. Go to our YouTube. Click the link. click the bell icon so you can be notified of our. This is gonna be the last episode of Rika's on here, y'all.
My farewell tour.
Start a petition. Hey, which one?
Daryl's the man. He started the petition. You just got to sign it.
Which one of them bad girls want to come on the show? We can put y'all on the show. We can start.
Listen, I know who you want to replace me with.
Cool.
We gotta go.
Yeah. It started getting messy. Anyway, hey, click that bell icon. Go to our YouTube. Buy some merch. We'll have you next time. Peace. Motherfucker said the N-word.
Bye, T.
Shout out to